Stick around, guys. I'm gonna show you how I make this wonderful mouth-watering seafood recipe. Nice and tender and delicious and full of flavor. It's my stuffed calamari kicked up a notch, and I'll show you how I make it right here on Caribbean Ducks. Let's get started. So first of all, we have a washed and clean calamari, 4 large calamari, and I picked up this trick here: baking soda and lemon juice to tenderize. And watch the magic happen here. See all the fizzing going on? That's the magic working here. So what I'm gonna do now is cover this down and set it in my refrigerator for about 2 hours. And then we'll come back and visit that. So now that our calamari is set to go in the refrigerator and tenderize, I'm going to show you a nice little trick here, how to make the crispiest potato in the oven. So what you do, you can use any type of potato. These are russet potatoes and some miniature small potatoes. So we have our boiling water here, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. That's the super quick trick here. A little bit of salt. Give it a stir. And this is how I make nice crispy potatoes right in the oven. So after about 2 hours, we come back here and we're gonna rinse off all that baking soda and the lemon juice. Gonna give it a nice rinse inside and out and get ready for the next step. Then we're gonna dry it off and go in with our green seasoning. I'll leave a link with the green seasoning that I make from seasoning and herbs from right from my backyard. Give it a nice coating. So this has been tenderizing for about 2 hours. Now I'm gonna put it back with the seasoning for about another 20 to 30 minutes. Let it absorb some of that green seasoning there, all that wonderful goodness. I'm gonna cover it up and put it back in the refrigerator. So now I'm gonna prepare our quinoa. This is about a cup of quinoa. Now quinoa is much more healthier than rice. That's why I like using it. So now our potato has been tenderized, and the way we check that is we stick the knife into it and strain it off. Let it dry out a little bit. I'm gonna give it a good rinse here to cool it down. And then we're going to put it aside to dry off and cool down. So now our water is hot and in goes our quinoa. So we have a cup of quinoa to a cup and a half of water that I just brought to about boil. So now we're going to make sure we give it a good stir. And we're gonna set it on a low heat, very low heat, let it cook. Now I'm gonna cut up my olives here. These are stuffed olives. Remove it from the brine and we'll give it a good fine cut. Now here's our sweet peppers. I'm gonna cut that up really fine. We're getting ready to make our stuffing here. So we got our olives, sweet peppers. Everything is gonna dice very finely. Follow along, guys, and I'll show you how I make this delicious stuffing. Gonna go in with a half an onion, chopped up very small, and a small piece of ginger. Gonna mince our ginger. And we should have about a nice teaspoonful of ginger. Now we're going in with some scallion chopped very finely. And 4 cloves of garlic that I'm going to crush here. Next I'm going to go in with some fine thyme. This is some dried thyme that I had saved. Just get it off. And this is the basil, Merryman basil. Very flavorful. I'm going to add a couple of sprigs of that and chop it up very finely as well. So we have our thyme and our Merryman basil. Now we have 2 large sprigs of rosemary. I'm going to show you how we do our potatoes in a minute with these ingredients here: thyme, rosemary, garlic, and onion. We're going to chop roughly. And for our stuffing, we're going in with a large tablespoon of pesto, black pepper, or Merryman basil, thyme, tomato sauce, scallions, red pepper, a finely chopped olive, onion, garlic, ginger, and some Parmesan cheese. Now our quinoa is nice and cooked and fluffy, as you can see here, nice and loose and fluffy. And that's how you make quinoa. Now you can season that with a bit of salt and pepper, olive, and any kind of green seasoning, and you can have a nice salad as well. But I'm kicking it up a notch for the stuffing, so I'm putting it all into a large mixing bowl. Then I'm going in with my garlic, my onions, my ginger, sweet red peppers, our olives, and scallions. I'm going to save a few of these scallions for garnishing for later. And a large tablespoon of pesto, black pepper, and our basil and thyme. And about 3 teaspoons of Parmesan, grated dried Parmesan, and we're going to mix it all well together. Look how wonderful this is looking. You can have this just as it is as a salad, but I'm going in with 2 eggs as a binder. We want this to hold together when it's cooking so it doesn't ooze out when we stuff it into the calamari. So I'm just gonna mix everything well. A little bit of salt. And some olive oil. About 2 teaspoons of olive oil. You can give it another mix. And set that to the side. Now here we're going to make our infused oil. Add some extra virgin olive oil. Heat it up in a pan and test, make sure that it's warm. Go in with our thyme, garlic, onion, and rosemary. We're gonna have that infuse that oil, and as soon as we start browning and frying, we don't want to make that garlic burn. As soon as it turns that brown color, we know it's time. We turn off the heat and set it to the side. Let it cool down, and then we strain that infused oil into our pan and add our potatoes. And this is how we make a nice delicious crispy potato, and I'll show you in a moment. Set your oven to 450 degrees. Make sure the potatoes are coated. Add some salt, black pepper, and stick it into your oven. This is going to cook for approximately 30 minutes. Now attention back to the calamari. Extra virgin olive oil into a separate pan and set it to the side, and get ready to stuff our calamari with this wonderful stuffing here. Quinoa, super healthy for you. Fresh ingredients as well. We want to make sure we pack it well so everything is firm. Then we close it up with our toothpick like this manner and set it to the side and continue the process. Now that we have our full calamari nice and stuffed, I'll show you the next step. Next, we're gonna put it in our pan. But first, we're gonna layer the bottom with some tomato sauce and just sit it right on top. And we had some leftover green seasoning. I'm gonna go right on top with that as well. And then some more tomato sauce. We don't want this to dry out or burn, so tomato sauce will keep it moist. And in goes set that to about 25 to 30 minutes. While that's cooking, we can take a potato out and flip them over, and you can see that it's starting to brown. It's getting crispy already. Flip them all over so it's halfway through cooking. We're gonna put it back in there and let it cook the rest of the way. And now our calamari is finished cooking for about 30 minutes here. It's smelling wonderful and delicious here already. And our potatoes are done, and as you can see here, I'm showing you guys how it's well cooked and crispy. Check this out, guys. And this is how you make delicious, seasoned, crispy potatoes in your oven. And now we're ready to plate. We have this delicious calamari stuffed here with our crispy potatoes seasoned well. And we're just gonna garnish, and we're ready to dig in. Tell me what you guys think of this. I even make a couple of rosettes. I'll show you in a second how tender this is. Look at this guy. This knife is just going through this like butter. It's so tender. You guys must try this. Stuffed calamari kicked up a notch with the crispiest potatoes and quinoa. Look how awesome this is, guys. At this time, please give me a thumbs up, comment, please subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you can get my new videos as soon as I put them out. And please do share and leave a comment. I appreciate you very much. You guys have a wonderful day. Come back and see me at Caribbean Ducks. I'll have a new recipe by the end of the week. I hope you guys try it and tell me if you like it.